filmmaker?
Well, I've always been into, designing characters and narratives and, illustration. And, when I was little, I would make little comics and things like that. So I've always kind of been into being a storyteller. And it wasn't actually until college that I started trying my hand at animation. So, this is actually the fourth film that I've finished since college. One, I did one each year. And this was kind of like the culmination of everything. So I guess that would be my history.
So you've always been interested in animation then?
I probably it didn't come on my radar as something that I could do as a career until the second half of high school. I was originally thinking of being a graphic designer, but then, the narrative aspect of it, which of course can be a really cool part of graphic design, but I just felt that for me, the medium of animation kind of would do that more for me.
So is that what you want to do as a career? You want to animate?
Yes, definitely. I'm currently looking to see what's out there in Baltimore and DC, and it is a bit of a process sometimes finding that job, but
I can understand that.
yeah.
And now we're going to go more into the film. So what inspired you to make the film?
So when I was growing up, there was this willow tree right outside of my neighborhood in this big field, and I just spent a lot of my childhood, it was kind of like this canopy. It was like a magical sort of place. You could go under it, and I just spent a lot of time there, and I felt that, the tree kind of had a presence in it, like a listening presence, and I felt this genuine relationship to it. And when it was cut down a few years ago, I did feel this sense of grief and loss, both for this, element of my childhood and also for this presence that I always felt was there. So I kind of wanted to honor that with a film and also just explore those sort of relationships that are, non-human, for lack of a better word.
My history with filmmaking is more tuned with animation, 3D animation, and a little bit of 2D animation, but it's primarily 3D animation using Blender.
I do not know what that is, but sure. Do you have like a personal connection to filmmaking or animation? Like, is there a reason you do it?
Yes, it's because when I was younger, I lived in Russia for 8 years as a child, and at the time I was bullied a bit for being an American living in Russia, and I could relate myself to the fictional characters more so than with the people around me because they were bullying me. But what I saw within a lot of animated characters was this perseverance past all of their adversity, and I wanted to see myself finding my own happily ever after within those characters.
Do you often see yourself in your own characters that you create?
Oh yes, definitely. I think that a lot of artists naturally do put a little bit of themselves in the characters. For me, there's always this little bit of fear, this bit of sorrow, but a bit of sorrow that tries to overcome that in some capacity.
What inspired you to make this film?
What inspired me was my own, a combination of video games that I had played where I thought, maybe I could do this better, where there's a narrative of, oh, there's a detective with a ghost and you solve murders. And previous titles that I had seen try to attempt that sort of somewhat slipped a little bit, except for The Sixth Sense, but nothing has really been attempted quite like that. But I also saw a little bit of my own dealings with mortality and death, where I had my mother pass away due to pancreatic cancer, and I wanted to capture this moment of love and joy, but then this moment of grief and sorrow, where the loved one has just been taken away, but also a moment of being haunted by the spirits of those that you've loved.
Well, I've been making films ever since I was really young. It's been a lifelong dream of mine. I've always wanted to be a filmmaker, and I really don't know how to do anything else. And I started making shorts with this claymation character called Birdie, and he was a stunt claymation dude that kept dying and coming back to life. And then when I was in 6th grade, I didn't have a camera, so I shot an entire movie on my webcam. It was about 5 minutes, and it was about the Hulk, the Marvel superhero character. And as you might guess, it was terrible, but it was a good start. And then in high school, I went to a performing visual arts program for filmmaking, and made a bunch of short films there, and then got into UMBC and deciding to do a BFA in cinematic arts. And yeah, I worked on Reincarnate, and I just finished production on a passion project of mine called Uptown Greaser, which I just submitted to the Sundance Film Festival and the Maryland Film Festival as well as director Francis Ford Coppola's. He's having a short film competition, and I submitted that as well.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that draws you to filmmaking?
It's kind of been something that's unexplainable. I don't know. It's just kind of the ultimate art form when you think about it. It's sound, music, visuals, everything just combined into this one ultimate art form, and it can resonate with people the most, and it can put them through a visceral journey. And I think that it's really cool to just be able to utilize that tool and make people feel a certain way.
Yeah. What inspired you to make this film?
Well, Syed wrote the original concept of it, and I liked the idea of having a clone that had the memories of his creator, and I thought that was a really good chance to explore the themes of what makes somebody human, what makes somebody's memories theirs, and I thought there was a lot of inspiration I could take from a lot of science fiction movies, and we just had to take this ambitious idea, kind of cut it down to 10 minutes, and I thought it was something that I should take advantage of, and it would be a great thing to join this project.
Is there any message you were trying to get across while you were making the film?
The message of Reincarnate, I would say, is to not forget that love is really a powerful force, and it can transcend, just space and time, and it can carry on into different things.